Hey, it's Misskaykrizz. For today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the things that I have learned from my flight attendant career that I'm still using right now, 7 years after I quit. So the first thing is, it's like being a flight attendant is like going to finishing school. You know the finishing school, the place where they teach you about manners, different types of wine. You know the one they do in most downtown Abbey shows like that, British culture. They teach you about different classes, how to hold wine, also about Arabic culture, where's the right place to pour coffee, which hand holds the food, things like that. So it's like going on a free finishing school that all my knowledge about culture, how to serve food, different types of wine, which wines go with which food, things like that. You got to learn that as a flight attendant, especially if you're going to serve in first class, which means if you become an international flight attendant, that is. Because domestic flight attendants, they don't usually do these things, especially if you're just doing domestic flights. But international flight attendant, that's different. You have business class and first class, and different ways of dealing those different customers. You have to be able to hold a conversation or something like that. So it's part of the training. It's part of what you learn every year. They refresh you about it. And for me, I just appreciate it that I learned so many things about culture and the arts, the way food happens, in a different way. So basically, it's a hack. If you cannot afford to go to a finishing school, you didn't come from royalty, or things like that. The second thing that I have been ingrained with me as a flight attendant that I'm still using right now is how to care for myself. As a flight attendant, I remember we were always hopping on the latest health fads. Matcha is really trendy, so we're now all drinking just matcha. Our waters in the flight will always have mint leaves and lemon slices because flavored water, hydration is in. So drink your water all the time, things like that. And we are always like trying out different diets. I tried different fasting before, also cleansing, liver cleanse, all of those things, HIIT exercises, whatever is the most trending, whatever is the uso during that time, that will be what everybody's like more inclined to try when it comes to diet, exercise, basically wellness and maintaining yourself. Even I remember our house, our crew house, on top of it there's a gym that it's free to use by us. And even some buildings, I thought they even have spas. I don't know now. Maybe it's different. I think they have no sauna or something. It has improved since, because mind you guys, it's been 7 years since my last gig as a flight attendant. So that still is inculcated in me. I still go for my massage whenever I can, because as a flight attendant, what I usually do is every destination have a designated thing to do. Like for example, Thailand, you better have a Thai massage, girl. Philippines, you better get your hair stuff done. It's the cheapest place for it. Thailand is also for nails, massages, tom yum, yummy food, Thai food. And also when you're in the Philippines, that's when you get all your beauty procedures done, like your microblading for your eyebrows done, your hair rebonding done, or Brazilian treatments done during the time that you are going to have a layover in the Philippines. Because how this works is usually if you work as a flight attendant, you'll spend like about 9 hours going to Manila, and then depending on the next flight, how demanding your airline is, sometimes you have only 12 hours to stay, so that's just enough to sleep and eat and refresh, take a bath for the next flight. But sometimes you get to stay for 3 days, and that's amazing. So if it's for 3 days and each day you get a salary for each and every day that you're staying there, at least my airline does, they give us in cash when we sign in onto the hotel. So, okay, this is for shopping, this is for the massage, this is for the hair treatment. You're all set there, girl. So if you are a flight attendant, this becomes your habit, this becomes the norm. You take care of yourself because you're so tired of taking care of 300 passengers on board when you're on your way to that destination. And going back, you have to be refreshed. So you need to have your massage, your nails done. Oh, I love being a flight attendant. So yeah, caring for yourself, and it never really ends. Even if you stop being a flight attendant, the habit is in there. You kind of notice something's off here. So you tend to care for yourself naturally. The third thing I learned by being a flight attendant for about 6 years or so, it's the high standards. You just gotta have standards. In the job, we call it, that's not standard. What you're doing is not the standard. So we have this language wherein being on time is the standard, being late is not the standard, doing the service a certain way, like you give the drinks first, and then the snacks, and then you collect. That's the standard way of doing it. And then there are other ways of doing it which is not standard, usually not frowned. That is, if you're doing things that are not standard, that is usually frowned upon by the culture of, flight attendants. So I always find myself being anxious if I'm not on time. Now that I'm not a flight attendant, being anxious if the food is not standard, being hyper aware if I go to places that they're supposed to serve food this way, in a standard way, why is it not being served in a standard way? So I definitely caught the culture. You have to be standard. Being not standard leads to danger. Being not standard, not just in service, also in safety. Especially if you are not doing the standards of safety, you may jeopardize all the people's lives in that flight. being OA and dramatic, yes, but that's the reality of the job of a flight attendant. You have to be standard, especially in safety. And since life usually just overlaps the other parts of life, you have to be standard in everything, so that it just becomes your character and your habit that you are standard in safety, because you cannot jeopardize the lives of the people you are caring for during the flight, and your life as well, right? So yeah, being standard is the norm, and having high standards, it just overflows or overspills into other aspects of your life as a flight attendant. Like, definitely you will have a higher standard of living, and once you get used to the lifestyle of a flight attendant, you definitely wouldn't want disrespectful people around you, because you're always polite, you're always nice, you're always good vibes to your passengers, and your standard is that high. And once you are not flying anymore, oh my gosh, you can definitely tell the difference of people who are not standard. I'm starting to sound like a parrot here, just talking about standards. But yeah, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but I hope that does. But I think that's a good thing for me. You know me, I'm a toxic positive person. That's my trait. So I always tend to look at the bright side of things, if you may. So I always thought of it as, because I now have high standards, my life has to reflect that. So waking up early in the morning, maintaining my health, maintaining my mental health, maintaining my diet, things like that. I still do it, even if I'm not a flight attendant anymore. It's always been in me. So after being in this job, in this, not just a job, it's actually a lifestyle. It's a whole lifestyle, guys. So it's a good thing, trust me. It's a good thing. Also, it will overspill into your relationship. You wouldn't accept the low standard behavior, you know what I mean, anymore. That's what I was saying. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is, because of this career, I've learned how to deal with bullies, because it's very notorious, guys, in the Philippines, especially in Korean airlines as well. You get bullied a lot as a flight attendant, especially if you're new, if you're the new blood, if you may say. Bullying is a reality of life, even if you become a nurse, even if you just go to high school. There's a lot of bullying there. So being a flight attendant, I learned how to deal with it. Just don't take it personally. You go to your work, do your job, go home. Let the bullies have a bad day. You just keep the smile on your face. And if they're really picking on you, either you fight or you choose your battles, of course. Of course, it's a case-to-case basis, but you get to learn how to deal with them. Like this bully, you just have to find the sweet spot. Like compliment her hair or something like that. Or this other bully, there's no way of dealing with them. So just less talk, less mistake. You learn through experience. And at the end of the day, you learn, either you become a bully yourself, or you learn not to take it personally, just move on with your life. And the good thing about the job of a flight attendant, you go to work, you don't bring your work home. Leave it there. Put it on your report. Tagan, kalas, done. Goodbye. Have a good night's rest. You don't have to take it home with you. So yeah, it's a good skill, I think, especially one skill I would like my kids to have, how to deal with bullies. And the fifth thing that it seems like a habit that I cannot get rid of. I started acknowledging people all the time, because in the flight attendant job, you always have to say good morning, good afternoon, how are you? Because especially in the Philippine setting, I think for sure in other countries as well. But if you're in a local airline, the moment you don't say good morning to someone, if there's like 10 superiors there or 10 supervisors, one supervisor you didn't say good morning to because you have to drink a water or something, your next flight will be the target of bullying. So you learn your lesson to just say good morning to everybody, even the janitress, even the guards, and everything, just because I'm always smiling. I don't know, I chronically smile now because I am hyper aware that I have RBF, and some captains put me in the report sometimes, especially on the early morning flights where I don't want to smile. There's been a report about me that I look pissed, I look angry. So that taught me to just put the mask on whenever you're in the job. So now, I'm not in the job anymore, but every morning, I say good morning to my kids with a 7 dance number. And also, whenever I meet people, it's always like, good morning, hi mom, how are you? Good morning, sir, good morning, mom, things like that. But you know what I mean. It's a good trait to have. Depends on the situation. Of course, always with nuance. So yeah, those are the 5 things I learned from my career as a flight attendant. Hope you liked it.